Okay, audio check, 1, 2, okay.
Did you say come down some?
I think the north stack is a little bit hot, but I'm not actually out there. Ian, you want to do me a favor? Do you mind going to the center and telling us what you think of the PA? Right. Center, please.
Josh, can you bring up?
Yeah, you can switch out podiums.
Test, 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 1, 2. This is the Australian Prime Minister's podium. Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Test, test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm going to distribute these mics real quick.
Okay, come back to me, Josh, please. Just want to make sure everybody is getting the audio that they need. The large mults are mic level. The smaller ones are line. The small blue ones are line. Just let this be a reminder to silence your phones while we're at it. Just everyone on cuts and main has the audio that they need. Yes? Audio check, 1, 2.
Check, 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 1, 2, 1, 2. Question mic number 2. Test, 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 1, 2. You should have your question mic in the mults. Check, check, 1, 2. 1, 2. Question mic number 1. Question mic number 1.
I am for the U.S. press.
Okay. And who will be doing it for?
Press, and then is this the Korean mic?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Time. Yes. Good. Audio check, one last time. Everyone's getting the audio they need, want. Okay. And then I'll switch over to the Prime Minister's podium. Same thing here, audio check, 1, 2. Audio check. Audio check. You have this as well, yes? Main and cuts. Okay. Probably 10 more minutes or so. 1-2.
No, I have it. I gave it to them all. No, yeah, it's not out yet. Fair.
So do you want to cell phone them out? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. What? I missed. I understand. Thank you. You're just gonna give it to me.
Hi. I got your sheet number. Right next to that. So yeah. Bye. Yeah, that is sitting right there. No, yeah. Cool.
Still holding nothing away.
No, yeah, so. I'm also going to check.
Distinguished guests, please find your seats and silence your cell phones. Thank you very much.
I can't escape them. Someone's bullying my man. You're bullying your friends. These two will be. Should be as well. Rue's got one of them at least.
Oh, Craig. Sorry, sir.
We need one more. Prime real estate. There had to be somebody that was missing. We knew there had to be somebody. You almost lost your seat. Or worse. Into the restaurant. That's very correct.
There he is. Hello.
Distinguished guests, the President of the United States and the Prime Minister of Australia.
Over there. Don't need these. Hello, folks. Mr. Prime Minister, we've been in close touch since the moment you came into office. Please sit down. I'm sorry. Since you came into office, and we've met all around the world. And now it's wonderful to have you by my side here at the White House, and as we advance our alliance even more than has already been advanced. It's strong now. It's getting stronger. Before I get to the progress Australia and the United States have made today, I want to say just a very few words about the situation in the Middle East. The anger, the hurt, the sense of outrage that the Israeli people are feeling after the brutally inflicted devastation by Hamas is completely understandable. Israel has the right, and I would add responsibility, to respond to the slaughter of their people. And we will ensure Israel has what it needs to defend itself against these terrorists. That's a guarantee. We also have to remember that Hamas does not represent, let me say it again, Hamas does not represent the vast majority of the Palestinian people on the Gaza Strip or anywhere else. Hamas is hiding behind Palestinian civilians and is despicable and, not surprisingly, cowardly as well. This also puts an added burden on Israel while they go after Hamas. But that does not lessen the need to operate in line with the laws of war. For Israel has to do everything in its power. Israel has to do everything in its power, as difficult it is to protect innocent civilians. And it's difficult. I want to thank the Israelis and the Palestinian, and President Sisi of Egypt for working with the United States to make sure that food, water, and medical supplies are getting through to innocent people in Gaza. The flow needs to increase, and we're working very hard with our partners to make that happen. We're also working around the clock together with our partners in the region to secure the release of hostages, and including American citizens left behind and held by Hamas, and the safe passage of foreign nationals out of Gaza, not just Americans, but Australians and a whole range of people who are trapped in Gaza. I also want to take a moment to look ahead toward the future that we seek. Israelis and Palestinians equally deserve to live side by side in safety, dignity, and peace. There's no going back to the status quo as it stood on October the 6th. That means ensuring Hamas can no longer terrorize Israel and use Palestinian civilians as human shields. It also means that when this crisis is over, there has to be a vision of what comes next, and in our view, it has to be a two-state solution. It means a concentrated effort from all the parties, Israelis, Palestinians, regional partners, global leaders, to put us on a path toward peace. In the past few weeks, I've spoken to leaders throughout the region, including King Abdullah of Jordan, President Sisi of Egypt, President Abbas of the Palestinian Authority, and just yesterday with the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, about making sure there's real hope in the region for a better future. About the need, and I mean this sincerely, about the need to work toward a greater integration for Israel, while insisting that the aspirations of the Palestinian people will be part of that future as well. I'm convinced one of the reasons Hamas attacked when they did, and I have no proof of this, just my instinct tells me, is because of the progress we were making towards regional integration for Israel and regional integration overall. And we can't leave that work behind. And one more word on this. I continue to be alarmed about extremist settlers attacking Palestinians in the West Bank, that pouring gasoline on fire is what it's like. This was a deal. The deal was made, and they're attacking Palestinians in places that they're entitled to be. And it has to stop. They have to be held accountable, and it has to stop now. Mr. Prime Minister, I want to thank you for your partnership and your friendship, quite frankly, during this difficult hour. Over the past few weeks and for many months before, we've seen each other, and we've seen our alliance grow more critical than ever. And we need to continue to make this important progress. In our discussions today, we've done just that. First, we're pioneering new advancements and innovations, deepening our cooperation in fields like biotechnology, advanced batteries, quantum computing, cybersecurity, and a lot more. We're also signing a new technology safeguards agreement to create more opportunities for American space companies to launch vehicles from Australia. And we've launched a new artificial intelligence initiative between our national laboratories to drive revolutionary and responsible research on humanity's biggest challenges: fighting hunger, curbing pandemics, predicting natural disasters, and ending cancer, as we know. As a matter of fact, both of our wives are over at the Cancer Institute right now, and so much more. Second, we're accelerating action on climate change. I thought we had a very good meeting this morning and with Secretary Kerry and your team, and we're all together on that. In May, we established the Climate Critical Minerals and Clean Energy Compact to elevate our climate cooperation alongside our defense and economic cooperation. And we're already beginning to see the impacts. We've created a critical minerals task force to build secure critical mineral supply chains. We're also investing in sustainable infrastructure in the Pacific Islands, including $65 million for a subsea communication cable to boost connectivity in the region, and we're modernizing funding for small and medium-sized businesses across the Indo-Pacific to help the transition to clean energy. And finally, the alliance between Australia and the United States is an anchor, and I believe this from every fiber in my being, an anchor to peace and prosperity in the Indo-Pacific and, quite frankly, around the world. We see this through our work of the Quad partners, India and Japan, to ensure the Indo-Pacific remains free, open, prosperous, and secure. I also see it through AUKUS, where together with the United Kingdom, we're making generational investments in our shared security. Last week, I sent Congress a budget request with commitments to boost our submarine production and maintenance capacity here in the United States. And I want to thank you, Mr. Prime Minister, for the historic investments Australia has made to strengthen the submarine industry base as well. Democrats and Republicans alike understand the strategic value AUKUS brings to our nations, and I urge Congress to pass our AUKUS legislation this year. We also see the strength of our alliance and our unwavering support for Ukraine, both countries, as it defends its sovereignty against Putin's brutality and aggression. Australia is a critical partner, together with the United States and 50 other nations. 50 other nations we've been able to put together, all doing our part to support Ukraine. And I want to thank you, Mr. Prime Minister, for the new package of military aid you recently announced, it's for Ukraine. Look, Australia and the United States also share, in my view, a commitment to upholding international rules of the road, including freedom of navigation. Just this past week, the PRC vessels acted dangerously and unlawfully as our Philippine friends conducted a routine resupply mission within their own exclusive economic zone in the South China Sea. I want to be clear. I want to be very clear. The United States defense commitment to the Philippines is ironclad. The United States defense agreement with the Philippines is ironclad. Any attack on the Filipino aircraft vessels or armed forces will invoke our mutual defense treaty with the Philippines. And Mr. Prime Minister, today we renewed our commitment to defend the values that are at the heart of this alliance. And we continue to stand as one to forge a better future for both of us and all the region. So I want to thank you again for being here. Thank you for your partnership and your leadership in this critical moment. And I'd like to now turn it over to you.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. President. Australia and the United States have stood together for more than a century, and it is indeed a great honour for me to stand alongside my friend President Biden here today. At the heart of our alliance are the enduring values that our people hold in common: a faith in freedom and democracy, a belief in opportunity, a determination to build a more prosperous and more peaceful world. Those values are timeless, and they have never mattered more than right now. That's why the relationship between Australia and the United States has never been more important. And of course, it has never been stronger than it is right now. We work together to promote peace and security across the Indo-Pacific, to uphold the stability which has generated unprecedented economic opportunity for the nations and the people of our region. For Australia, this is about investing in our capability and investing in our relationships. Today, President Biden and I discussed the progress being made on Australia's acquisition of nuclear-powered, conventionally armed submarines, which we announced with Prime Minister Rishi Sunak in March in San Diego. We are conscious that this is only the second time in history that the United States has shared this technology. And this fact speaks to the deep trust of our alliance and the significance of the challenge that we face together. Australia appreciates the administration's efforts to operationalise AUKUS and work with Congress to pass the legislation needed to realise our AUKUS ambitions. And I certainly appreciate once again, Mr. President, your call for this legislation to be passed this year. AUKUS will drive innovation and cooperation to provide the United States Australia and the United Kingdom with improved capability to help secure peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific. Our cooperation is already unlocking transformative opportunities for jobs and skills and research, from Virginia to South Australia to Western Australia. Australia and the US have a strong and growing partnership in new technology, from medical research to AI. And I join President Biden in welcoming Microsoft's $5 billion additional investment in Australia, which we announced this week here in Washington. The President and I agree that innovation is vital to addressing the environmental challenge of climate change and seizing the economic opportunities of clean energy. The Climate, Critical Minerals and Clean Energy Transformation Compact that we signed in May in Hiroshima is very much central to this. Climate change and clean energy becomes the third pillar of our alliance, alongside our security cooperation through ANZUS and our strong economic ties with the free trade agreement between our nations at its centre. The compact lays the foundation for our two countries to advance climate and clean energy action this decade, both at home and globally.